Welcome back to another Professional Picks college basketball video. Again, we're looking at the Champions Classic. I know I released our preview last week, but I do want to just put another video out with the official picks now that we have some lines here. So we can make this one a little bit quicker. I know that we went into the matchup a lot more in detail last week. Once again, our first matchup here is Kentucky versus Michigan State. So Xavier Wheeler did come back against Duquesne in their last one for Kentucky. And then they're also going to be getting Damian Collins back here, the sophomore post. The one that we're still a little bit unsure about and really has this line a little bit up in the air is Oscar Shibwe. He is returning to practice, but Calipari said we might only be seeing him in spurts in this game, maybe 3 to 4 minute stretches, but regardless, still very important player to have back, being the national player of the year. Looking at Michigan State here, I really wish they didn't look so great against Gonzaga. They definitely showed that they are the team that I think they are. Just having all that experience, bringing all those guys back. The one nice surprise, in my opinion, was seeing Matty Sissoko play. It's been there a while. I do think he definitely showed some progression from last year. It's not easy going up against Timmy, and I don't want to say that like Timmy or Oscar Shibwe have good player comps, but those are two arguably the best centers in all of college basketball. Sissoko just coming off a matchup against Timmy where in the end he did get a little outplayed, but he definitely held his own for the majority of the game. Michigan State should have won that game, let's be honest here. I think Kentucky is just as good as Gonzaga, but they definitely have more moving pieces with all these guys getting injured, coming back, and whatnot. But my line prediction was pretty much spot on. We're going to get plus 6.5 here for Michigan State, minus 122. I'll pay the extra price for the hook. But I'm really liking Michigan State plus 6.5 here. We got them just about at the exact line that I predicted. And if the Carrier Classic has any indication on this game, I think Michigan State could definitely keep it close just with that solid play and especially their defense. They held Gonzaga 64 points. I think this one could be a little bit on the lower scoring end when you're indicating a spread of plus 6.5. I don't necessarily think Kentucky's going to cover that in a lower scoring matchup that I think is just going to be really grinded out. Hopefully, we don't get screwed on something like free throws at the end, but I do like that number a lot. Looking at our other matchup, we do have Derek Lively coming back. So let's make a lot of predictions on these injuries, but almost everybody has returned. Once again, Derek Lively did come off the bench, though. Might not see full playing time, but he's definitely going to play at least half the game here. The big story here, though, is just that returning experience, like I mentioned for the previous matchup. But Duke only brings back Jeremy Roach into the starting lineup. Jalen Blake's coming off the bench was the only other guy on that roster last year. Everybody else is either a freshman or a transfer. And these guys haven't had a ton of time to play together. On top of that, they have one of the top freshman classes, or they do have the top freshman class this year and probably in the last few years. But with that being said, a lot of these guys are used to being the number one option, even if they're on top EYBL teams, playing at schools like Montverde or something like that. Regardless, they're either used to being the number one option, number two option. Not many of them might be used to coming off the bench, playing that 4 or 5 man role where you're rebounding, or you have to take on a defensive role, such as like AJ Griffin did last year, and then shot exceptionally well from 3. So Duke definitely has the size advantage. We're not going to ignore that. That makes me pretty scared here to side with Kansas, but they're just bringing back more guys. DeJuan Harris coming back. Jalen Wilson's been playing tons of minutes. He's averaging 20 and 10 right now. It is against the weaker competition, so don't want to put too much into that. But even say KJ Adams, who's in the starting lineup now, he was on the roster last year. He's gotten comfortable with that system, just getting accustomed to playing with Bill Self. I like signing with experience, and especially guys who've just stayed within the program the last few years. On top of that, this is Duke's first real matchup. Can't really put anything into those early games. So it's going to be a lot to address there. As far as John Shire's first real matchup as a head coach, and then just how they're going to get this rotation to play out. But this one, I do feel like is going to be a little closer. So the spread is -1.5 for Kansas. I had them at -3. I think the lively return could play into that, but regardless, I do like the number a lot. I think Kansas is going to outplay them. Just like on the perimeter, they're going to stretch it out a little bit, get those big bodies, their 7-footers outside of the paint, and just try to stretch the court a little bit here. I am siding with Kansas, even though they are smaller. These guys are older too, though. I think just some of the extra strength in playing in these big matchups over the years can give them maybe the height advantage back, or at least mitigate that a little bit on Duke's end. So the play here still is going to be Kansas, but -1.5. And then our official card, the lock here is going to be Michigan State +6.5. I know a lot of people maybe thought they overperformed against Gonzaga. That was like 11.5-point spread. But even before that game, I still liked Duke or Michigan State +6 here. I think I was probably higher than on them than a lot of other people. This should be a ranked team. Just lots of talented guys, balanced roster who defends the ball well in the half court. And then Kansas for another unit. These are each just could be 1 unit apiece. I know I could probably raise the overall price on Michigan State here being the lock, but we're going to just put them each at 1 unit for our first official bets of the year. Let me know what you guys are taking in the comments. As always, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking on this matchup. With that, we'll just take a minute for our promo. As always, we have a partnership with Prize Picks. They'll match your first deposit up to $100 using our promo code ProPicks here on the left. It's a daily fantasy app, so you could use it in betting illegal states. And they offer tons of promos where they'll chop an over/under in half, take the over. They'll even refund if, say, their desired promo ends up not hitting. Just gaining a lot of popularity. Great app to check out if you're just looking for more ways to get financially invested on these games. With that, wish everybody good luck this week, and there will be more videos coming out here shortly. As always, let me know what you're thinking in the comments if you're tailing, fading me, but we'll get right back to it for year 2. Thanks for watching.